All right, for this, we're going to be cutting out the station molds. I've got a 3/4 inch piece of MDF. Some people use 1/2 inch, others use 3/4 inch. I'm going to try and use a heavier 3/4 inch because I'm hoping I can use this more than just once. So what I've done is I'm laying down some carbon paper to transfer the pattern onto the MDF. So I'm just going to start tracing this out and we'll get it all scribed onto the wood. I should probably mention it's easiest when you're tracing these to use a straight edge on any of those straight lines, then you don't have to freehand those sections. As you can see here, I've got 2 pieces of carbon paper, one facing down, one facing up. That way, when I trace the pattern, it's putting the image down on the wood as well as on the back of the plans. This is because the plans only come with half of the pattern, and that way when you flip it over, you can then trace that pattern on the other side. And then you'll note I've cut a couple little windows in the bottom and the top of that pattern on the center line. That just helps me line up that center line much easier. So we're just going to do a rough cutout of these, and then I'll fine tune it a little closer to the line on the bandsaw, and then we'll sand down to the line so we get it nice and where we want it. So now that I've got all those drawn out, we're gonna cut these out. I'm gonna leave about a 32nd of an inch or so as I go around, and then I'm gonna use my sander to get right down to that line. Okay, so now that all of the stations have been cut out on the bandsaw, we're going to bring it over to this sander. We're going to just fine tune that cut all the way down to the line so we have a nice, crisp, clean, rounded surface. Strong back in place. I've got this ladder set up. I'm going to mount a laser that will go down the very center of this beam, and then I'll place those stations and using that laser to get everything centered on it exactly. So we're going to get the ladder, get going up the ladder and get that laser mounted up.
We interrupt this broadcast for a brief message from Ruger.
Hey, it can grab stuff. This can grab stuff. You gotta do your nails.
Are you serious? Do you think they're ugly?
Maybe no, but Papa does.
Now back to our regular programming.
We're going to get this marked exactly on center. So even though they say to make your strong back 12 inches wide, these pieces don't come 12 inches stock, but they are 11 1/4. So we're just going to find the center of that, mark it. The stations might overhang the edge. Well, they will overhang the edge just a little bit, but that shouldn't matter in the long term. So we'll get this all marked out. And then I'm just going to make this a little bit darker with a red Sharpie, just so that I can see it when I'm up there positioning that laser. With all the molds cut and shaped, I went ahead and placed some blocking on the strong back, screwed them down, and then I was able to start fastening those molds or stations to that strong back, making sure that that center line is following that laser that's up above. So with my laser, I was able to get everything right down the center. Probably can't see that green line right on top, but it just goes right down the center. Everything centered up really well. Everything's level. I just need to put the ends on. For this stem piece, I've notched out the bottom so that it'll fit across the top of that brace. So it should just slide right up and on there, and it'll match right up where it's supposed to go once I get it all lined up and all secured in place. Here's another shot of that laser going right down the center. You can kind of see it right there across the tops of all of the stations. Now, one other thing I did is I just put some brackets or braces on either side of those stems just to secure them in place, and they're solid.